Like, oh, yeah, I bought Hedron and trying to buy some hex, and they might have a question. They come in here, and it's like, oh yeah, dude, definitely go buy that HSI, but make sure you put it into the contract too, and then we get all that Hedron, dude. Like it's just like it's almost good that we don't grow and don't advertise. And then we do it later once we have all the coins.
Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, dude. Like dude, like my buddy, like I want my buddy Dicey in here. He buys and holds hex. He has like 2 T shares though. And I forgot to have him mint his 10x bonus, and he has 2 shares. So I was like, all right, dude, like I'll hit you up with the 100 million Hedron that I forgot to have you claim. And I gave him a whole bunch of Icosa just to bait him in. And like I'm trying to get some of my personal friends in. I think like if you want to get somebody to really get in and have benefit, like a small guy, like dude, getting them some Icosa and Hedron right now, I think it's just fucking priceless because they could eventually get their hex stakes down the road. They could, buy and stake it. They could compound and save up. The minimum like bid on like a fucking 100,000 hex stake, I think it's like what 150 million Hedron. That's not that much if you have a decent amount of Icosa staked. If you look a year out, and now you can get hex position easier. Even though I do think that, like, in a sense, like, what's interesting? Like, so I know we have all these native stakes and stuff, and like, I don't think gas is really going to be an issue for hex for like 15-year stakes. They could get expensive, but like, I think we solve those issues. But like, let's say we don't. In that case, some of the old native guys, they kind of get screwed a little bit, but the price of Hedron will be fucking insane because Hex price will be insane and the share rate and everything. So they'll be fine in the end. It's kind of like there's that one Hexagon guy. I met him in Vegas. Kevin talks about him, and he did like hex stakes every quarter for 15 years. And like looking back, it was a stupid decision, but he still 10x'd his multiplier at early share rates. Like, so it's cool. If he can't claim, it kind of sucks. But like, he got his money back. He got his investment plus more. If claiming stakes is that big of a problem, the HSI buyback system kind of solves that. Because those hex stakes are still tradable. Like, even after they've been expired, like, so you can like, even so if the gas is too insane, you can still like buy it, and it still has value through the Icosa contract. And it's like, this kind of solves this issue of ending stake. Yeah, some guys might get burnt with their native stakes, but like, you had the opportunity to claim a 10x multiplier. And if you didn't, you still mint that amount of Hedron. And if, all that hex, like, kind of ever got stuck, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Like, I don't know. Like, that's my view on it. Like, I heard people that made mistakes and all these things, but like, dude, if we can't claim those stakes, no big deal, dude. We'll just use the HSI buybacks. Oh, now a whole bunch of Hexicans can't like end stake their shit because it's too expensive, and now they can't sell their hex. Oh, darn. Should have used an HSI and sold it to the Icosa contract and not called Hedron a scam.
Yeah, well, couldn't have known in advance what is gonna play out. I mean, I back in February, I didn't have like I had like two T-shirts, something like that. I was, pretty much fresh in the system. I thought it was gonna come out in May, and that I was gonna do my ladder on the pulse chain. So, I only have like two small multipliers. Well, like 9x, but it's not a lot. If I would have staked it all, that's how it is.
Don't know where price is going short term. We could take a 75% dip and you'll hate yourself. But man, could you imagine like 75% dip, like and buy like 10, 15 cent Icosa? Like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think bigger entities would prefer like a decent, okay, price of Icosa, just so more Hedron gets burnt.
I bought that day one $1.80 Icosa. Me.
Is anyone else like seeing what I'm seeing here? Like I just can like I always trying to find it like how is this not going to work? Why is the price going to dump? Why should Icosa hold? And like why should it just fall? Like all these guys they minted this Hedron for free. They just going to dump the price of Icosa. Why would anyone want to buy a dump token? But like you relook at this system, man, and whew, the potential.
It does take a little bit of time. Like how many months did it dump before it was like at the bottom on Hedron? It was like at least 4 months. Started pumping in what, June, something like that.
Hmm.
Like it did what, a 10x, something like that, or more. I got like a cheap billion at the bottom. uh, yeah, and then it like made 10x in two months or so, from June to August, something like that. By the way, I just woke up, so if I have a really strange voice, that's normal.
All good, brother.
That's my bear voice out of the cave.
Dude, my sleep schedule is like fucking destroyed. Like I've been theory crafting and trying to figure out what Alex and Richard are doing, and I feel pretty confident. Now it's just like trying to flow with the market and kind of see what what happens.
Yeah, what's up with yesterday yield though? The yield hasn't been this low in like a month or so, almost.
Well, the other day, at 7 a.m., like, or it was like between like 4 and 7 a.m., somebody came through and started an insane amount of stakes. Probably took my idea because I said that, and then the next like it was 2 days later, I think, that it happened. So someone did it smart.
The auctions, you
And
mean, or the
yeah,
stake?
they started an insane amount of auctions at like 4 to 7 a.m. Like I'm telling you, like I looked through the list, it was like 300,000 hex, 300,000 hex, 300,000 hex, 100,000 hex, and it was just like there was millions in there, and they started all of them all at 4 to 7 a.m. And that's why we saw a dip in Icosa. Because those guys were uh selling some of it at least. And yeah, so now there's not as many hex stakes in there. Like there still are, but like that guy might have run out of Hedron or something. So there isn't like a whole bunch of people starting stakes. Now that could change. I don't know what's available in there.
Yeah, the list is a little bit hard to navigate, in my opinion. Well, I'm not doing any auctions whatsoever, but still, I'm looking at what's available. Might sell
I
some
did
Hedron in the future, but nah.
I did one. I wasted $150 in gas, and then I did one, and then lost $2 after gas fees doing the other one. And I was like, all right,
$150 in gas.
yeah,
That's
trying to do auctions first day, trying to do snipes and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just a waste of your fucking time. The only way
that's
it's like really worth your time is if like there's really nobody watching and you have a lot of Hedron. Like if you have like 3 to 10, as soon as you have like 3 billion Hedron, your competition lowers. But like but you need, if you want no competition, you need 5 or 10 billion Hedron, and that's where you get the good deals. So that's interesting because that entices big whales to come in and play the Hedron game. You know what I'm saying? Like because like if you could go buy $10,000 of Hedron and then let's say 20,000, and then you were able to make like a quick $400 or $500 profit, that's enticing to whales and bigger players.
yeah.
And there's less whales out there than regular people, so it's just like the number of people per big stake is just lower.
Yeah, for sure. I don't have that kind of Hedron.
Yeah, me either, dude. Yep, yep. By the way, Watsa's 100% undervalued right now.
Oh
The
yeah.
lowest price ones, you had to drop over $1,000, but those are a good deal. Every day one has like 1.1 Icosa in it.
1.1 Icosa for $1
Yeah.
what's up? Or
Yeah, it's over 1.1 Icosa per million points.
uh,
I just had another fucking thought. All right.
Go ahead.
So I was wondering like how the system was going to turn out, like, how everyone was going to view their bags. And like, cause Solix really, really likes his Hedron for good reason. I love Hedron to death. And he's like, I'll never sell my Hedron. Well, that holds up price. That's fine. But like, I'm now looking at my bag. I'm like, dude, I can never sell my Icosa. Rather sell Hedron, because what happens is like, if I never sell my Icosa, you just keep your position and all these crazy things. But it's like, you lower the price of Hedron a little bit and stuff like that. But then just more Hedron gets burnt.
Yeah, and you print a decent amount of Hedron as well.
Yeah.
By staking. On the good days, it's really juicy.
And by me not selling Icosa, it just makes it where like more Hedron's burnt and shit, and more people want to recycle the auctions. So I'm just like kind of incentivized where it's like, dude, I don't want to dump down the Icosa price. I'd rather see that Icosa price at $1 and let's burn 100 times more Hedron. And then all the people who want to come through for the auctions so they can arb the price or do whatever the fuck they want to do. Like, you take some of that economic power when they put it in because they need to refill because February 13th is down the road. You have to make a decision between now and 57 days to go put a purchase into Hedron. And like, the higher the Icosa price, the higher the amount of Hedron that gets burnt. And that's good for Hex. That's good for everything. Like, I don't know what's going to be the best play, but like, I'm really looking like, man, I hope everybody does that. Because if you only sell your yielded Hedron through your Icosa pool, even if you're a big player, it's really not that much. Like, it's like kind of selling minimum. It's like you're taking your yielded free Hedron and then staking it, and then you're not selling that interest, but you're selling the interest on interest on interest and you're only selling like one part of the interest.
Yeah, it's not the Hedron part is not like super great compared to the Icosa, of course.
Yeah. Like it's right now there's plays like, dude, if Hedron does a 2x, your statement goes out of the window, or if Icosa drops 50%, this is like a statement for like a year. Like, I want to get to the point where I'm just like I just kind of get to keep that position, and then like, if you're making enough money to hold your coins, dude, what would you do if you could cash out 20 grand of fucking Hedron a month? I don't know what I would do after the second month. I'd be like, I guess I would pick up more drug habits.
uh, yeah, well, yeah. I was kind of hoping on doing that and, compound like 3, 4, 5 years.
And like, some of these
Get that
numbers are
huge
crazy.
money printer. But
Sorry.
yeah, I still don't know, well, how is it gonna play out after year one. So I guess I will know more after, you know uh how many, 3 auctions still, 3 auctions, 3 times 90 days.
Yep. I think what happens is all of a sudden everything constricts super hard, and then it's really hard to get Icosa unless you send it to the buyback. But then that Icosa pool gets paid, and then and like you're not really going to lose that much of a pool position after that.
Hmm.
And it's like you get to like maintain your economic energy. Oh, it's I remember I used to say to people, this was at Hex at a penny and a half. All right, we didn't even go up yet. I was like, it's so fucking good. It's just so good. And now I'm like, dude, Icosa is just too good. It shouldn't exist. It's too fucking good, dude.
Yeah. Out of dry powder again.
So what are you going to buy a Lambo, Patrice?
Uh, probably not by a Lambo, but you know, definitely gonna got my eyes on some decent cars.
If
Okay.
Alex isn't a dumper like Richard,
Mm.
like those profits have to go somewhere, dude. And just like in Hacks, it goes to the fucking staking class, dude. So which Lambo do you want to buy? I like the vets, dude. The new vets are cool.
Oh yeah. I haven't looked at the price here in France because all of them are like imports. It's really, really expensive. But yeah, I would definitely dream of one of those new vets or even like the Vipers. I've always been a fan of Viper. Those GTS, those blue ones with the white stripes. Sexy. Other than that, I'm more of a Audi guy. Like
Eh,
a little bit
these are all right.
classy, but it's the same motor base as the Lamborghini. It's the Audi motor inside. But yeah, new Corvette's definitely looking sexy as fuck.
I see a future where we come up as a community rule, like eventually, like through the Twitter spaces, like people are like you don't sell your fucking hex, dude. Like get the fuck out of here. Like if you get caught selling your hex, we're blacklisting you, dude. You should have restaked that, you bitch.
Selected few. Diamond Hand Club.
What? You fucking ended stake and sold your interest, you stupid bitch. You should have wrapped that for fucking 15 years. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but at what point are you taking profit? It's always a
On, dude.
it's always a hard question.
Sell your Hedron.
So yeah, yeah.
No, I'm serious because there's always going to be buy pressure to it because of the auctions. Instead of
Yeah, I'm gonna need a lot of T-shirt before I can buy a Lambo with some Hedron.
No, but if you have Icosa stake now and you compound after this year, that Lambo, I think you're going to be able to get it just in Hedron.
Hmm. I mean, I've got a couple of shark positions. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to buy a Lambo. We'll see.
Wait, you have 0.1? Or
Uh,
no. So you have a 270-day lockup? No, dude. I think
yeah, like
if you
shark
have a
position
couple,
in the Icosa pool. Huh?
I don't know how big they are. I don't know what the minimum is for 270, but I have a 271
Uh,
with like
I think it's pretty low. It's around less than 2,000.
if
I
you
think.
compound your rewards and wait 1 to 2 years, I think you could buy a Lambo with your accumulated Hedron.
Hmm. Well, I want to see the price of Hedron in 2 years then.
Well,
Because
also remember, like if you compound your rewards, you're earning
from what
like
I predicted,
37 times more Hedron in the Icosa pool than staking Hex right now.
yeah.
So like you're earning like at like 1,000 T share rate, kind of, depending on your size, or like 200 or something. Like you're earning insane amounts of Hedron on a yearly basis. Um and dude, like we don't know what's gonna happen, but like I don't know, man. Like I think that those types of things are actually possible. Like, cause if you have a couple 270 positions, you combine all of those. I was doing estimates that those are going to earn 1 billion Hedron in a year. Um, are you telling me you don't think that Hedron can do a 20 or a what is it now? A 50x from here? You don't think so?
In what, in 2 years? 1 year?
1 to 2 years?
Um, I mean, that'd be great, but I don't know. Uh,
I think it
yeah.
can.
2024, end of 2024. Yeah, might be. Bull run things. I mean, if we did like a 10, 12x in a bear market, could definitely do much more.
Remember, now people are starting to appreciate their Hedron more, and they're staking their Icosa, or staking for Icosa, which is still really good at these, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the optimum play is as you earn Hedron, just stake it or participate in the auctions to get some Icosa if you have like hex stakes. But like, you know, eventually, dude, your yielded yield is going to earn enough to where it's like that covers all your expenses.
Hmm. You said earlier that you estimated you could print 1 billion Hedron in a year.
If you compound correctly after that
Uh,
year, yes.
yeah, you
Big
gotta have
players
a
can
lot of
participate and
fucking
change everything.
Icosa. Because in like, what, in like 100 days, on the smallest position, I have about 22 million. And on a bigger
After
one,
you
like that.
compound and everything is set and done, your pool position could increase. And I also believe that there's going to be a point where we go back to ceiling price, and then Richard's like, you know what you should do? If you can't see the greatness here, I think everybody should go and throw some HSIs into the system. Like, are all these big hexagons who don't
Mm,
like, there's some guys who don't like, they'll just wrap hex for 15 years and sell it, and just not so they don't have to sell down the price of hex. Do you
mm,
know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
we could see more HSIs with more shares at some point, but like the amount of Hedron that is paid to the Icosa pool, like that rate is based on the shares, and it doesn't matter about the serve time or anything like that. If there are more shares in the future, that means there's more Hedron paid to the pool. And as long as you don't dilute yourself and your position increases, you get more of all of that same Hedron. So these rates could be better in the after this 1 year.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Especially if people keep dumping in the meantime, instead of compounding.
That's if you want to play it. Now you could just dump your Icosa and dump everything. But like
Yeah.
for every guy that decides like, yo, dude, I actually don't want to make Icosa a dump token, that means more Hedron is burnt.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the 95% of the people who are in the Icosa chat are not really here to be dumping their Icosa, more about compounding.
I sold the 6.0 top, suck my dick, and then I bought back in. But like I was like, holy shit!
The
Like
what? The what? The what top?
I like when we hit the 6.0.
The
Like I look at it
6.0.
and I was like, oh dude, like Hedron took off. It's like time to dump. And then
Oh,
but
the
I just
Hedron
bought
top.
and yeah. Yeah, I sold
Oh.
the top and then I just bought more Hedron off the market. So like now there's just like way less Hedron out there. Like, you know, it wasn't like I'm a whale or anything. Like it was like a good couple grand. But it's like, well, I just took off a few extra billion here and you know, now I'm taking up part of the Icosa pool and stuff. Like the money didn't leave. But like I see a point where it's like, dude, you just kind of want to be staked and chill and then kind of make plays around what's going on.
Yeah, I started like I stopped adding to my stakes and just making new
You have to.
180 like 180-day stakes to compound faster.
Just let everybody know, in my opinion, adding to a already existing stake is a death sentence to your stake points. It's a death sentence. Don't do it. For
Why
now.
do you
After
say
this year, then you're
that
cool.
sentence?
It's a fucking death sentence. It's a fucking death sentence if you
Why
add to
why
a
so
stake right now.
dramatic?
Well, because I have a stake like that, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, I just fucking locked up longer before the big payout, and now I have less T points for this, like the next big event, and like assuming so much Hedron gets burnt, all of these factors and stuff, like you may not see as big of burns in the future. So you want as many T points as possible during the highest burn times. And if we keep dropping in Icosa, or I'm sorry, if we keep dropping in Hedron, like, you know, or staying at that 4.0 point, well, this next one's going to be kind of similar to the last one. Also, the price of Icosa goes into that equation. So like literally you fucked yourself so bad because then you just add more time of you not the biggest thing is because your yield isn't earning yield here, and like since the yield is so high it outpaces the share rate by exponential factors. Every stake is different though, so you need to check your own stake. Like sometimes it doesn't matter, but like yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was missing out big time if I was just adding to it, especially on those longer stakes. Like being locked again for like 270 days or 360 days. It seems like way too much if I want to be compounding. In the meantime,
But that's only
take
possible because of the super, super high payouts. So, like, if this next one is even anywhere close to the last one, which it looks like it might possibly be, God damn it, are you going to want your shit like as much of it staked?
yeah, what's the Icosa price, by the way, today? What's my Hex Bijan? Hex model. Okay, so we're trending down again on Hex and Icosa. Going sideways pretty much.
So here's another one for you. So I saw this study. Now remember, you got to usually read every study and then just throw it out the window because everyone's a bunch of fucking idiots and no two studies ever like match up. I've seen studies for everything. But they were like studying the stock market and they like came up to the like math where like if somebody puts in $1 and then like a year later they cash out $1, the stock market had a net positive of a certain percent. It wasn't like insane, but it was like it retained part of the value even though that money was taken out of the system. So like as people put economic energy into the stock market, buy and hold for a year and sell, like even if they took out dollar for dollar, there were higher prices in the stock market. Now I find that very interesting, and I heard about this a long time ago. Like this, so it's not like definitive. This isn't like mathematician or anything, but like I could see why there would be a hint of truth to it. And like every action then like you have all these arbitrage opportunities and stuff, there could be a lot of money left into the system.
Oh yeah.
And this
I've
is
seen
all
those.
about long stake lengths. This is about kicking inflation down the road. 10, 15 years from now, I don't know what the price of Hex will be.
Mm.
There are a lot of guys who own Bitcoin who are OGs and so have never sold. And I don't think the Bitcoin OGs are as committed as some of us. Like my 15-year stake, dude, that's getting turned into a Voltron stake. All right, that's what I'm going to tell you. That 15-year hex stake that I have, my big motherfucker. As long as I don't get nuked on gas and shit, that's getting rewrapped for 15 years with another stake somewhere.
Yeah. What do you think ETH is gonna be at in 15 years?
I have no idea. It could do really insane things too. Depends if they solve the gas issue. Let's see what sharding does.
Yeah, I hope they can work on those different sharding methods. I think the first part of the sharding is supposed to go out in 2024, if I read correctly. I don't remember exactly how they call it, proto sharding or something like that. They have yeah, they have like 4 or 5 different steps they want to implement. Looks pretty complicated. Gotta study that more in depth on a good day when I'm not so tired.
Dude, I remember ETH 2.0 when I first got into crypto. That was like 5-6 years ago, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what the fuck they say, all right? I've been here too long. All right. Do you remember that? Okay, I'm going to tell you something. Do you remember that time we all like heard mid-May for Pulse Chain? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crypto. Software timelines are terrible.
Yeah, that'd be nice if I didn't have to pay like more than 1 ETH to end my stake. I wonder if anyone is gonna end stake some of those small ass HSIs in the future.
When Pulse comes out, they will.
Yeah, but on the ETH side?
Oh, no, those are sitting.
Those will bleed out. It's not too bad, I guess. When the stake bleeds out, the interest still goes to OA and the stakers, right?
Wait, what?
When the stake bleeds out after the staking period and you don't claim it,
In Hex?
yeah, the inflation
Yes,
goes
it's
out
split between
to
stakers and the OA.
yeah.
I want to take you on a magic carpet ride, a whole new world. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for JP Morgan to fucking buy, and I'm gonna dump my Hex on their fucking head. That's when I sell Hex, is when fucking like Jamie Dimon like fucking buys. No, I'll wait for Michael Saylor.
Yay, let's make a double top, guys. Let's get wrecked together.
Wait for Elon. After Elon has a conversation with Richard, and then Richard convinces him to buy Hex, then that might be a good time.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Did Richard talk to Elon in a Twitter space the day before yesterday?
I didn't listen to that spaces yet. I don't think they did. I think he got cucked before by Kim.
Fuck that piece of shit, dude. Like, oh, you're not allowed to talk about Hex. I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, though, but you're not allowed to talk about Hex. You're like, yeah, I bet you don't want people to know about Hex. Yeah, because then they'll all dump their Bitcoin and realize how shit it is.
There's no way that Elon doesn't know who Richard Hart is. He knows Richard Hart. They're a billionaire. They're like, Richard's the best in crypto, and he's a billionaire. So Elon knows Richard for sure, 100%. I would think.
Yeah, both of them having a conversation together would definitely be interesting. Richards is much more confident when he's speaking, though.
Like only his people made the most, his people made the most amount of money. Yeah, I'd be cocky too if I made 1,000 millionaires. Yeah. He deserves it while everyone lost their money. Dumbasses.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's not always. Yeah, it's like a little bit off-putting when you.
But they remember him.
When
and
you
so
don't,
guess what?
Yeah.
If they don't buy at 3 cents, they're going to eventually FOMO at $1. Let's get the believers.
Yes.
Let's get the people who are willing to listen. Because if we get more people who are willing to listen and buy at 3 cents, they're probably less likely to dump all of their fucking bags. Getting good holders in at the bottom prices is better. Get all the stupid people to go buy the next top.
Fat, dude. That's a fact.
Richard's being borderline edgy. Do you know what I'm saying? You see these bitches. He said a mean thing, and it's just what are you going to sell your hex? Yeah, are you going to sell your hex? Well, go do it now, dude. Go do it at 3 cents. If you think that Richard flaunting a Rolex, it made the price go down today 0.56%, or he called that one girl her face looked like foreskin. Look like foreskin or whatever. You think the price of hex went down 3% that day because of that tweet? All right, well, this isn't a good investment then. Then go leave at 3 cents. Go emergency end stake, expire your shares, and get the fuck out.
Bravo.
If you're in at this point and you haven't end staked, you are fucking committed. And what if we test a penny? I'm not selling at I ain't breaking a stake at a penny. I don't think we're going that low, but I don't know.
Hell no.
This is what Candace sounds like right now. She's running right now. She's Yeah, who's going to sell their hex that low? Nobody. Is it going to who's going to sell their ETH at $300? Nobody. Who's going to sell their Bitcoin at 11,000? Nobody.
You know why? Because they bought it 20.
Maybe just Mount Gox people. Who made a million X?
Like I feel like Rich is almost like trying to piss some people off because if you're like, because like now everybody's gonna remember. It's like, oh dude, it's the guy who bragged about how many millionaires he made. Oh god, he's back. Oh my god, that thing went to $1. Like, how big of a deal is this? And they're gonna start looking and then realize they just took the red pill and they're gonna be like, oh my god, I lived a lie. All those Bitcoiners are a bunch of fucking bullshitters. And then they're going to have to buy Hex at $1. And then it's easier to hold $1. People are all knowing about him. Like he's not like super utter popular like this Mario Narfwhal guy who like basically shills scams and shit. I like once again the scammers are very popular in crypto.
Agreed.
If you're somebody doing good for the world, you have no followers.
We should calculate at $1 how many millionaires Richard would have made by then, based on on-chain analytics. I think Axie Infinity would be able to tell us.
It would be, I think, a lot.
I mean, a lot more than 1,000. Might be like 10,000.
Yeah. Now you find out that you missed out on a 25x, and then you're like, then you start looking into it, and it's like, wait. If Hex is Bitcoin 2.0, and Hex does what Bitcoin did, that means Hex could hit $100, and then they finally catch it, but they're buying at higher prices. Like it's almost good that we get the people who are smart enough to break through the noise and just not be like regular crypto zombie guys, or you educate people who are stupid. And like me, I was stupid. Like, and then Richard definitely taught me some things, right? And then you educate people. And like what we need to do is we need to be like the Democratic Party. We need to take over the schools and teach them our ways, you know?
Go woke. That's what Buck Fiat says. He wants Richard to be woke. Come out as gay. Get a girlfriend who's transgender, like in the mix of his, pile of chicks. Like have one that's transgender. Go woke.
Ugh. Dude, like the woke movement, from what I can see, is dying, and it's dying quickly in certain areas of social space, like Twitter and stuff. You can tell people are catching on and being like, wow, this was like the government telling us that like hiding under our desk would save us from a nuke.
Or getting a stick in the arm would be better than getting the real thing.
I wonder how low Icosa is going to go. Since a lot of those auctions got started up, like I know there's still some here. I don't know how many there are, but like I don't think there's an insane amount. Like we should see a little bit less harbing.
I think it's going to go at least to 49 cents. Because it's at 59. I think it's going to go to 49 for sure. But the thing about why that might be wrong is because it just posted a higher low. So whenever something does a higher low, that means it's going to go up. So I think I might be wrong, but
I did just convince a ton of people not to sell their interest either. And basically say, if you sell your Icosa interest at this point, you're basically retarded. And I know that I told Maxim that, and then I saw a candle, and then he puts up on Twitter like, hey, just bought more Icosa.
Yeah, like
I love it when I can like say something and a big person like with a big portfolio, or like way bigger than mine, like that dude's got some money, and then I make him I make him FOMO into a something he already has a lot of.
Look, I'm looking at the Icosa USDC pool on Uniswap, the histogram, the You know what I'm talking about, guys? With the red line in the middle. Maybe I'll just copy and paste it into the chat, but there's like this huge, like towering, like price. Are y'all good at reading them? Because it kind of predicts the future, I suppose. I don't know.
Dude, like, I'll be frank. I couldn't tell you anything at all about charts, about wicks, ascending triangle bullshit. Dude, buy the bottom and then sell the next top. That's how you do it. That's how I do it. Or buy as close to the bottom as you can.
Oh yeah, but yeah, right. So if you
That
have,
was weird. Like,
if you wanna put $5,000 right now into Icosa to buy it liquid, you're not helping the ecosystem.
yes, you are.
Well, yes, you are, but you would help it more if you got into the liquidity pool through the Uniswap V3, and then you provided liquidity and set a range like right at the market price, and then let the thing go through your range.
So if you want to go and learn and how to do all of that stuff, like, great. And I know like a lot of big players like look at that stuff, and there is some like a lot of benefit to it, but like whenever you buy Icosa off the market, you're leaving economic energy in the Icosa pools because you're taking coins out and then you're staking them, right? So you're going, and so like when somebody arbs the price and makes a profit, the reason that price didn't go down so bad or is holding is because people are buying. So like, so that your statement's true. If you're really good at liquidity providing and you know how to run that horse race, like, go ahead. But like, I've done fine in crypto without providing liquidity, and I'm not a whale though. So like, if you're like a big whale, like that might be a good answer. But if you buy Icosa
You don't
off
have
the
to be a
market,
good whale.
it's
Okay.
a digital
Like,
lend. It's a peer-to-peer digital lend because you're getting Icosa in return. And think of, remember how T-shares are certificate of deposits? Well, that's your Icosa is your certificate of deposit, which you can then put into the protocol and get paid that day for any actions for you putting monetary power into the Icosa pool by buying some Icosa.
yeah, just buying it. Okay. But there's a I guess there's like three ways you can buy it. There's buying it spot, like really like just there's providing liquidity and letting your, if you have Hex and you want to get Icosa, you could just go to the Hex Icosa pool and then set the range really tight so that Icosa goes through and you exchange all your Hex for Icosa. And I've heard that's the best way to do it. If you don't even have to be a whale, like $1,000. It would be better for the whole thing if you did it that way. From what I've heard, but I don't know how to explain it.
Also like limit orders and stuff like help too, like holding up the price and whatnot. But like I just feel like, dude, if you put money and buy Icosa and you stake it, you lent your money to the pool, and then you're going to get paid for all the actions for the time that you staked. And that money doesn't disappear or doesn't go anywhere. What happens is the price goes up a little bit, and then somebody will go in and burn more Hedron and then sell the price back down, especially in case of like ceiling price or whatever. But like, you're putting monetary power into there and then someone else is taking advantage of it. But in them taking advantage of it, they're burning Hedron, which is paying you Hedron and Icosa.
So let me ask you a totally different question. What would you think would go lower, right? Icosa or Hedron? And if you say Hedron could go lower than Icosa, and you could use Hedron to sacrifice for famous. You can also use Icosa to sacrifice for famous. I just read it on their white paper thing. So which one would
Dude,
you?
we don't talk, dude. Like, I don't talk about other projects here out of respect for Alex and Richard. Like, I'm not sacking anything in this ecosystem for anything other unless like Richard Hart comes out with like Heart Wallet or something. Maybe I throw a little in there, but I would have a
Right,
hard time doing that.
but
Like,
what's the difference between, sacrificing, which is effectively burning your Icosa when you sacrifice it and you give it to another address, or when you give your
they sell
your
usually.
Hedron to another address? Like, which one would you give over? Which one would be better? It sounds like you'd probably give your Hedron over.
Yes, because Icosa is in its hyperinflation now. So, like, if you want more Hedron down the road, like having more Icosa staked now is how you do it with a longer term perspective. But yeah, I would do Hedron over Icosa.
Okay, that's cool.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have some Hedron staked, though. I just want to make sure that's clear. But like, it's a close call.
I mean, I'm 100% in What's. I don't have any Icosa or Hedron. And I'm thinking like, well, I don't want to get too much exposure to one system,
Yeah.
and by buying Hedron right now at its price, which is pretty damn low, and sacking it for another project, and that's an ecosystem project. I'm like, okay, diversifying, because I'm like, okay, so, as you said earlier, what if the Icosa price goes really low? What if it goes to 49 cents or 39 cents or 29 cents? I mean, that's unlikely, but still it could go low. And if I have all in one ecosystem, my What's plus new money, new into that, I'm like, uh-oh, maybe I shouldn't do new money into the system, but it's so low and it's so affordable, but still it's like, I already got enough. I should probably branch out because, why not?
What with your like are you using fresh powder? Or are you like
Yeah, fresh powder. Like literally I want to buy a $2,500 guitar for Christmas. And I'm thinking, holy shit, look at the fucking low prices right now. This is amazing. So I might delay my vacation
5,000
on my
Icosa
guitar.
right now staked is bigger than me. And you lost out on the interest, but like you're at a higher, so there's a real advantage here for you. So I have a better stake length or a better stake rate. I have more T points and I've already accumulated a ton of Icosa and Hedron from my Icosa. Now, with the price dropping, I'm still in profit. Now, here's the other thing that makes it good for you. Because you are buying today, you are getting a better rate, right? But I got a better deal for buying at $1 because I staked at the right time. But because you today are going in and buying Icosa at a lower price, and then you are starting your stake, you like so like let's use an example. So your $2,500 turns into 5,000 Icosa for easy math. My one stake was 2,500 Icosa, and now it's up to let's say 4,000 or it's up to 7,000 Icosa. What did I say for your number? 5,000, and now let's say I'm up to 8 or 9,000 Icosa. So I have more dollars than you, but like you can go and buy that Icosa, and now instead of my 10 M points, you're going to get like 28 M points. So you're actually getting a really, really good deal. And now you have the information that I know about how to compound your interest properly, or to try and set yourself up to do it properly. You actually have a huge, like, really high, massive upside for buying now, even though it was very profitable to buy when I did and then just stake your coins, because now you're getting a ton of extra stake points that I don't have unless I compound my interest. So you didn't miss out. You are now presented an opportunity, and how you approach that opportunity, and then the future dynamics of the system and how everything pans out. That's all. We don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But like, what I see is if you were planning to put in $2,500, you would have been in profit if you went and did that and staked it like I am. Like, I'm cool, I'm chilling, bro. But like, because you waited, now like all of the tokenomics and the game theory is now like more well known. Now you can go stake all those coins and have more stake points. So the reason that it's such a good play is just because you end up with more stake points before the next big burn. You missed the last payday, which sucks, but like not like everyone else is kind of locked up and shit. You know, it's really easy to lock up your Icosa for a long time because it doesn't take a lot. Well, now you can go in and you'll have way more stake points than me unless I do a penalty, and then I still think that I end up with like a little bit more T points than you. But then you start running into like this like game theory of like, oh, if everybody compounds this time, and then the people who don't and they finish their stake, finish everything, and then combine it with interest, then they end up with a certain amount of points, and you have like a time delay between the burn events. I see like game theory happening there, but like it's just how you play it from here. Like you will get 3 times as many stake points starting out right away for buying now rather than before. But you made less money because you should have bought back when I bought at $1.
So like a $2,500 stake would be required to stake for 260 days, right?
Hold on, let me bring up the wallet here. Create new stake. Was that like 5,000 Icosa? I think that's a whale. Yeah, that's 270 days. Let me see here. Is it 2,000? Is there like... Oh, Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? Is that how this is? Oh, okay. So here's what I would do. Not financial advice. You're pretty stupid if you actually do listen to me. So not financial advice. But if I had 5,000 Icosa right now, here's what I would do. Wait, what is it? Can you do that in 90-day increments? Damn, dude. I would do some, you know, stake, gas fees and everything are all included. But I would do like 3 stakes of like 1,500, 1,700 a piece. Oh, I don't know what the number is. Sorry. So you could do 1,600 Icosa in multiple stakes. Start them all at the same time. And then at the end of the 6 months, really you might, there is this chance where you end up with more stake points down the road based on network activity. So you may be incentivized to break those stakes, but making 90-day stakes, like it's like 160 Icosa, and then you're locked up for anything over 160, you're locked up for 180 days. So it's like, unless you want to make 40 fucking wallets, which if gas fees are low enough, like that is the better play, is to like redo it every 90 days and then compound that way. But I would do it like a 6-month compound stake. Do 3 180-day stakes. So you have like playroom, and then you're locked up for less time, but you still have the same amount of T points. And then at the end, you can compound them, or you can make one bigger. You can, like, there is advantages at some point to where, like, you like take a whole bunch of your Icosa and lock it up for 270 days and just kind of leave it there. But that's probably going to be after the first year. The faster you claim your stake with all of the yield and all of the yield and principal, and as long as you end up with more stake points, the faster you can do that, the better. But the Icosa pool is so fucking small right now. I'm not making 60 fucking wallets. Not happening. We're all the
Yeah, me
fucking
neither.
Zen losers, huh? We're all the Zen fucking losers. You guys like making wallets? Well, go make up 100 fucking Icosa stakes then. Sorry if you hold stupid mint as many free coins as you want, commie coin. So sorry.
That is hilarious. Your perspective is so fucking refreshing and funny. Refreshing. That's funny. That's just so funny that people hate shit or they love stuff. It's so hilarious to me. I mean, I like do I like to find common ground in life and in crypto and everything. It's like it's so cool to know people who like love something and hate something. All right, so I see what you're saying. It's like I don't mind making wallets, dude. But I don't understand why you don't. But for example, like if you know that 90 days is the
Because
best thing
you're
to
fighting
do,
gas fees. You have to send Icosa to every wallet, which is like $1, and then you have to send additional Ethereum to every wallet, which is like 30 cents, and then you have to start the stake, which is like $1.50, and then for that same stake, you have to claim it in 90 days. So you're claiming 3 times as much, and then you have to re-compound it, and so you're claiming your Hedron and your Icosa stake, and then re-adding to it. So for every wallet, it's like a whole bunch of transactions. And like, remember, after I think it was 160. So that means for every like $90 that you stake, you got to do like $10 in transactions for it. Now, if Icosa appreciates to like $1 or two, well, looking back, it was a really good decision because you compounded so much better than everybody else. Like right now is weird because the next set doesn't come out for like another 2 months. But like the perfect idea is in a perfect world, the day of the auctions, you start your 90-day stake, you get paid, you claim before the next one, and then you restake again before all the big hex stakes come through. In a perfect world, because we're 2 months out, it is probably better for you to do a stake and then be able to get into the next following one, February 13th, May 13th. You'd want to claim your stake around May 13th or so. Depends on network activity. We can only go with the information that we're presented. But as the pool increases, it will go up, like the amount of Icosa that you can stake for a 90-day stake and stuff. We just need a few compounding sessions. And then I think that will occur.
I don't understand how a smaller stake compounds, like multiple stakes.
Because we're in hyperinflation stage, like where like these yields are insane. My one stake, like I have like 100% more Icosa in there because the yield's so high during the first year. But that yielded Icosa, that yielded Hedron isn't working for you. It's just sitting there. So the faster you get to put all of these like crazy amounts of coins that we're getting to work, it's like T-shares. It's just like they're working for you. So the faster you get more Icosa and more T points working for you, the more yield that you receive of this entire pool.
I know that, Bart, but I mean, it still doesn't explain why having 5,000 divided by 160, and that tells you how many stakes that would be. I don't. Let me just do the math. Like, 5,000 divided by what? 160 is 31 stakes. And then you're like saying like times $10 a stake or whatever. So it'd be like 300
Yeah,
bucks.
like yeah,
You're-
maybe more, maybe less, but like
You're,
you have
you're,
to do that
the
many more
question,
gas fees.
the question I have for you though is, okay, so you spend $300, but you get that 90-day time window. Is that worth that the $300 worth being able to have that 90-day compound?
From what I'm seeing, it's starting to look interesting to where, like, I mean, if it was 1,000 Icosa, like for like a 90-day stake, I would very easily do that and just compound every 90 days. But just like it might be worth it, but it is a little bit of a gamble because if Icosa keeps going down, like you wasted a lot of gas that you could have just used to buy Icosa. But now on the other hand, when we start talking about $2-3 Icosa at these super high inflation rate times, stuff like that, having as many coins staked is like having as much hex stake day one. That's the best way I can put it.
I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but like if you have $5,000 and you have 19 million endpoints, and then if you have 160 Icosa, you get 634,000 endpoints. So 634,000 times 21 times 31 stakes is the same number, 19 million endpoints. I don't understand
I
why
believe so.
better
It's
to
the
have
same
multiple.
number, but you'll be able to compound it
you get to
faster.
end them
So
earlier without
in the
penalty.
Yeah, why do you compound faster with smaller stakes? Oh, because it's
Because
faster
they end
meaning 90
faster,
days.
and if they're longer
Yeah.
locked, all of those coins aren't working for you. And then if you want them to work for you, you have to take a penalty. It's better not to take penalties.
Okay, so you're just saying 90 days are more desirable, but then in 90 days, if Icosa was $2, how would you extract value? Pardon me for saying that, but you're like, maybe if it's $2, the liquidity is like smaller or about the same size as it is today. There's like no liquidity, so you're really like stuck in the system, sort of.
Because I'm not a dumper. I'm trying to take a hold of the Icosa pool and have a permanent position where like I earn 100 times the amount of Hedron that I would with Hex. That's the type of numbers that I've come up with. You could earn 100 times more Hedron. That's 10x of a 10x multiplier stake.
Neat.
And then you earn that in perpetuity plus the additional Icosa that you yield. And it's all about T points and everything. And like, every stake's different. So you'd have to do the math on it. And like, the thing is with the 90-day stakes, like you have a lot more room to change your plan as you need to. If you lock up for 270 days, you have to be a little bit more committed to holding that. But if there's so much inflation to where like you're getting yielded so much and you want an even bigger portion of the pool for those next set of big hex stakes that come through where you earn 20-30% yield in a day, like, well, you need emergency end stake, take a penalty, and then move on from there. Sometimes that might
This
be
is
the play.
reminding me of the ASIC token and how you get more Pulse Bitcoin. I'm sorry, I hate to make that comparison because that's so stupid, but whatever. But it is amazing that your Icosa gets you more Hedron.
100 times at these current prices, pool percentages, and amount of HSIs that are going through might go lower, but like over time, like the Icosa pool, as long as you don't sell your Icosa and you restack it, there's a certain amount of Hedron that you're always due. And then all these 10x multipliers, they will eventually go away. People will emergency end stake, and they'll just be gone. And the more times that happens, the more lucrative over time the Icosa pool becomes, because you were here today prior to it being popular.
When did everybody start their Icosa stakes on day? When was like day one? And if you did a 90-day stake now, when would it expire? Would the 90 days expire before everybody's longer stakes that they started on day one would expire?
Depends on your lockup period, but it was 90 days from the launch to the first day of auctions, and February 13th is the 180 day.
Okay, so calendar. Google. When is 90 days from now? From today. It's March 8th. And you were saying 180 days was May something?
February,
Mark,
if you had
the mark.
stake day one.
Oh yeah, February. Okay. So it's not as bullish. It would be more ideal to have your stake end before those did. So that's kind of bearish to get 90-day stakes that would end after those 180-day stakes. Do you see it that way?
I look at everything in T points, and I am not selling a single Icosa until after this first year.
What do you predict will happen when there's when those 180 days stakes end? What do you predict that will happen? A lot of people will restake.
Well, I think that the people who locked up for 180 days are plebs, because it's like less than 1,000 Icosa. So in the grand scheme of things, they can't sell down the price too hard. And if they do, they're more than welcome to. Everybody's allowed to sell whatever they want. But when they do that, they're giving bigger positions to all the other classes. Because if you end the day of the auctions and then you just sell away your position, well, that means the pool's less lucrative, or the pool is better for me. So if everybody does that, then well, I'm getting all the rewards of the smallest pool. Go ahead, dumbasses. But I think that you're going to see a lot of sharks have to make a hard decision. If you have a 270-day lockup on a day one stake, you have to make a decision. Do you let it run for the next 90 days, or do you emergency end stake and then double your amount of M points and then relock up for another 180 days to compound one last time before the last auctions?
Someone could emergency end stake their Icosa stake and buy more Icosa with that.
No, they don't even need to buy. They could, which, obviously you bought Hex anytime during its hyperinflation stage. It was a really good investment. It went up, I think, another 200x from big payday, and or from the big payday dip. So, but because you emergency end stake, you take a penalty, but because at the end of that stake, you have earned so much interest, you could restake before the big payout. And then you're going to end up with more M points just in your Icosa. And then you have earned additional Hedron, which you can then stake or sell, do whatever you want. Or you could swap that Hedron for Icosa and stake it right before the auctions. Because if your payout would have been for the month of February, your payout would have been 2,000 Icosa. If you compounded and had more T points, you would have ended up with like 4,000.
So would it be the most ideal if you ended your stake the day before 180 days or 260 days auctions start?
You just have to end stake and restake before the biggest day payout. Whether that's the February 13th or 14th, we don't know what people are going to do. If somebody goes in and starts all the big hex stakes all at once, all on the first day, oh, you bet your fucking ass you need to put your fucking ass back in with more stake points. But like if only small ones are going through and everybody's leaving all the big ones, you could play it like a few days off. Like it all depends on what people do. But like, it's probably best to be in by that. I think it's February 13th. I think.
Um, I'm afraid to ask you a dumb question. So, fuck, I hate
I'm
this.
passionate. I like I know I am like cocky at this point. I know what the fuck's going on in my opinion, in my own crazy head. I'm not mad at you. You're like, or don't take it as an insult.
So like guys like Maxim on day one. Could you give me the date of day one?
I already talked to Maxim. I messaged him on Twitter and I told him that because I saw his stake and it started changing some of my viewpoints because it was a big stake, wasn't it? Like 20,000 Icosa or something. Like stake day
Yeah,
one.
he got a big one.
Yeah, it was big, and I think it yielded something like at the time it was 685 million, and this was like what, a month and a half, 2 months ago. And it's like, well, now all of a sudden I messaged him and I told him, I was like, you might need to look at that 270-day stake and you might need to emergency end stake. It might maybe be the play, and he's thinking about it. Like he hasn't come out and said anything, but he's about to come out with a YouTube video talking about it. That's what he told me.
And then he would do various many smaller stakes, like you're saying, so he could compound. And wouldn't it be a game
Maybe.
theory question?
I didn't tell him about the 180-day stake compounding. We're just talking about his one stake and then just making that decision. Does he let it roll through and then get more stake points when he end stakes with no penalty at 270 days? Or does he do it at this one? And he has, basically with what I told him is we don't know what the answer is right now. We don't know what's going to happen. If we see a dip in Hedron and Icosa goes up, well, now all of a sudden all those stakes have earned even more yield. So now you could give even more T points. So whatever the yield is over the next 58 days, if it's utter nothing, it's not that you're not as incentivized to do it. But if we see a rise in Icosa and a dip in Hedron, or like Icosa goes up more than Hedron, well, now everybody has to basically emergency end stake because now there's all these guys buying this Hedron at low prices, and it takes more Hedron to get that same amount of Icosa for their arbitrage. And that's where all the Icosa is produced, is when like the most amount of Hedron's burnt. So there's a lot of varying factors, and things could change on a turn of a hat. There is no definitive answer. Like you'll have an answer at the end. Like you're going to look and be like, oh, I should have not end staked and I should have waited the full 270 days and then restaked and then had more T points moving forward, and everything. We really don't know what's going to happen.
You kind of you can human nature will obviously if you predict what human nature does frequently in nature, it's like, okay, you have a harvest, So, what do you do with your harvest? I mean, so you don't just save it. I mean, do you really the majority of the people who end on day 270, or was it 260? I don't remember. The majority, I don't think, will restake for another 260, especially when they know that the first year inflation is like major good. What does that do to the sentiment of the people who are going to stake next time? Like, they're going to be like, oh, well, it's not going to be as much, you know?
I I mean, dude, like just like selling is like part of it, but there's so many people here who are just like my one buddy. I try to really get him to be a Hexagon, right? Like it. Why? Delay of gratification, and like if you're this far deep into the rabbit hole of fucking crypto, all of us are going to cash out and buy fancy cars. All right, all of us. All right, but are you going to dump all your bags? Are you that anxious to get out of this system or completely out? And like this, if you're this far deep, you realize like you're probably liking hacks, 15-year stakes. Like I have a longer time frame window, and I think a lot of the other guys do as well. And the thing is if you go and sell at any point this year, completely lose your position. You just completely fucked yourself. Everybody else, like if you stake, sell your 200% interest and you had 10 T points, okay? And then you restake, now you still only have, well, actually, you have less because the share rate went up. So, like, now you're at 9 T points. The person who compounded now has 20 or 30 T points for longer. And they earned additional Hedron and shit that you didn't. And remember,
You meant to say
up to 100 times more at today's dollar values compared to staking Hex for 1 year.
golly, 100 times more than staking Hex for 1 year.
Too. It depends with these auctions and what happens. But I was doing some numbers through some of these days, man, and it was like I'm taking averages here, I'm taking averages there, and without having like huge, massive stakes in there, I'm seeing 27 to like 37 times more Hedron. And once again, the reason I go up to 100 is because if you compound and everyone else doesn't, well, now all of a sudden you have like twice the pool. So like you're like then you start moving into like 80, 100 times. And what happens if what happens if Icosa becomes super, super popular? Like these HSI buybacks become super, super popular. Well, I see a world where a whole bunch of hexagons take a whole bunch of hex, they wrap it for 15 years using the Hedron HSI function, and then they sell it to the Icosa contract. And then all of us today who keep our Icosa earn all of that advanceable Hedron right then and there. So there's a future where like more hex stakes. Remember, only about, I think it's like 0.78% of all T shares are in the Icosa contract and the auction system. Only like 0.78%. What if we went to 2%? Well, that means there's more shares. And remember, each share just it has an advanceable amount of 5,555,000 Hedron per share. And if all of those keep getting recycled, the amount of Hedron that you earn stays about the same if your pool percentage stays the same. While everybody else in Hex, they are going in and are earning their, with their 10x bonuses and shit like that and blah, blah, blah. But like now they can't sell their Hex. And now if they want to earn even more Hedron, oh, well, then they have to join the Icosa pool. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't join during the first year of hyperinflation? Oh, that fucking sucks. So when you come in, I get some of your economic energy. By being in this system now, while all the other sharks and whales are enjoying their mass gains with all of their hex, there is stored economic energy in all of that hex. And if they go in after the first year of seeded liquidity and stake that hex, we are going to get that economic energy. And then they don't get the same kind of rates that we do because we compounded during the hyperinflation time while they're trying to compound during the super low inflation time.
Well, who's going to be around to compound during the super low inflation time? Why would that adopt more people?
Well, then at that point, it's about price appreciation in Icosa. And the amount of Hedron that you yield through the pool. Like us big players have an advantage to earn a lot. Like, I don't think people are realizing, like, dude, this is like being, okay, I'm going to tell you a story. I have a friend who has a little bit more hex than me. All right. I sold a little bit more through this bear run and stuff like that. But do you know what he has that I don't? I have he has like 500 T shares. All right. I don't have anywhere fucking close to that. Not even fucking close. Why is that? He staked through big payday and I didn't. His amount of payouts is like, did I still make money with Hex? Do I still make money on my interest? Abso-fucking-lutely. But he makes a lot more interest. But it was still good for me to buy Hex, even at higher prices and a worse share rate and without big payday. It's still a good investment, but man, he had a real advantage for being there during the hyperinflation. A super big edge. And now he earns way more Hedron than me. But he has no Icosa staked, so it's like, whew, thank God, now I can catch up. He doesn't want to listen to me either.
He doesn't want to listen to you, and you're telling him to early in stake what he's got, and then stake.
No. I would never tell anyone to sell their Hex, even though it might be the play. I don't know. But like, I don't want to ever tell anyone to sell their Hex. Like, there's a good reason to keep it staked, you know, especially a big payday stake, because if he emergency end stakes, he loses his big payday. So like, I'm just telling him put fresh powder in and keep your Hex, let that build, you know, remember, there's going to be a point where like everybody finally like grows a fucking brain and realizes, oh my God, all of DeFi was pretty much a scam over the last 6 years besides Uniswap. And it's like, wow, dude, Hex is awesome. And then they go and they FOMO buy Hex. It's going to be a while before they figure out Icosa and Hedron. And the longer it takes for people to get in, like, but remember, as they come in, we suck up some of that economic energy. When Hedron does another 10x from here, you're going to look at the amount of Hedron that you're yielding from holding Icosa, and you're going to be like, whoo.
Okay. Yeah. So I see what you mean. Like February 11th is 180 days after August 15th. So now that I kind of understand that, if I were to purchase Icosa and make some small stakes, like 90-day stakes, I could compound them, and then by restaking them before the February 11th, 2023, and that would get like a whole shitload more if I compounded them, for another 90 days, then that would be after the 260 days from August 15th, I think.
Because the auction started November 13th, if you did a 90-day stake now, you would be locked through. And so that scenario of you end staking a 90-day stake a little early, taking a penalty, and then using your interest to accumulate more T points, it kind of comes into play. But you could do one right now and run it for 90 days and then just like keep going with it and do so that you never incur a penalty. You could go and do a whole bunch of 90-day stakes, let them run until the May set of auctions, and the day before that auction, then you compound all of those into the stakes that you want. And hopefully by then, like, the stake amounts go up, so you don't have to mess with everything. You could just relock everything for 90 days or whatever. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and I don't know what the yield's going to look like. And 30-day stakes right now are just fucking stupid as shit. The 16 Icosa, you're locked up. Yeah, not happening.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, like if you want to go that crazy, man, you are fucking more committed than me. Like, and you are being risky. Like, you're really hoping for some huge price appreciation and Icosa very fast. It could be the play. Like, if Hedron does a 10x and Icosa goes up to $2-3, boy, you're gonna be glad you compounded every 30 days. But like, man, that sounds like a fucking. Well, actually, no, because 16 Icosa is like $8, and it's costing you $8 in gas. So yeah, it's out. So like, yeah, you're like basically 90 days is the best optimal, and then like you can make a decision the February 11th and be like, how many stakes are going through? Can we do an estimate on like how much Hedron's going to get burnt over the next month? What was it last time? What are the prices? Is there some type of connection that we can find? And then kind of be like, because if we see higher prices in Hedron for this next one, but then we see lower prices in the following one, well, all of a sudden more Hedron's getting burnt in the following one, even though there's less hex stakes. So some of the moves are just complete guesses, and you're really hoping you make the right play.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, big deal. So
You
you
miss
just
out
keep
on
holding.
a couple. You miss out on additional T points down the road. Like if you were supposed to wait for your stake to finish and then compound, like you could see a difference of probably like I would imagine like 10 to 30% in your total shares because you took that original 30% penalty. But if we all take the belief like Hedron over time is deflationary, and like if we start looking at bull market type of stuff, like like we could we're supposed. I think that the assumption is the first set of auctions. That's when the most Hedron is getting burnt. The second one, there's still a ton, but just not as much as the first, and then it kind of dwindles. But we don't know how much untapped Hedron is truly out there. There are a lot of Hexicans who don't even know they have Hedron right now. I don't think there's like that many, but like there's still some Hedron that hasn't been touched yet. So we just don't know what's going to happen. Maybe that's what we should do. I don't think that like people like dude, this is the most mind-bogglingly fucking just meta brain shit in the world. Maybe we should just advertise Icosa as make 60 wallets and stake them every 90 days. Maybe that's how we should advertise. I think everybody would really like it. Like,
That's
you
what
want to
I'm
make
saying.
600 wallets and manage all of those wallets? Well, Icosa is for you.
That's what I'm saying, man. I mean, that's what people are doing. They like doing that kind of thing. This is what Zen does for people, and it's fun. It's fun to make wallets. To be honest with you, I enjoyed it the day that Zen launched. I was like, "Ooh, I'm making 10 wallets. I've never done that before." But then, like, you didn't know what's going to
Yeah,
happen,
it
and
was
then
funny. There was a bot right behind you that did like 7,000 in like a couple minutes. So I wonder how that turns out.
I mean, I've got like 2 billion Zen that I'm gonna be claiming. So I wonder how that's gonna turn out. I mean, my friend has 7 billion Zen. He's gonna be claiming. I wonder how that turns out. I don't know, but it's
I
fun.
wonder how my 140 T shares with 10x multiplier will turn out.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's fun.
I
It's
think
fun
that's
to
the stupidest project. I've been in crypto since 2017, and I am here in the Icosa chat. I'm not a hex maxi to the super point, and like I hold some Atom, layer one. It's pretty cool. It's not a scam. So in crypto, you're doing pretty good. But like that was the stupidest coin that I have heard since what was it? There was this coin. It was called Mina coin, and it was like I'm sorry, that's like a top 10 stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay, if you make money, good for you. I hope you make a bajillion. I hope you make $1 million per wallet. But like, you know how many bots minted that shit? Didn't you find it funny that all the exchanges were like, "Hey, what's going on here?" Oh, so now like all these exchanges have bots like minting
Yes.
fucking coins. And what are they doing with all those coins that they're minting? They're dumping on their fucking users like usual. The only reason exchanges are going to pick it up is so that they can just dump the fucking price for any idiot. Like literally, if you go into their chat, they say, "Don't buy it. Do not buy it on the market. Do not." They're like, just go mint some. So basically, like this is a way for exchanges to dump on stupid people. Good for them. They find ways to make money. Impressive. But like, you should have a little bit of morals.
Totally agree, dude.
Every fucking green candle in that fucking coin, as soon as it gets a little bit green, dump. Whole bunch of coins come out. Dump. Just dump the fucking price.
But it's fun to create wallets, and so go back to get your bullishness out on creating a bunch of 90-day 160 Icosa stakes.
I was actually thinking about like I not about the I enjoy all my crypto stuff. I do this every fucking day. I really do genuinely have a passion that no one can understand. It's just like trying to manage all those wallets. It gets kind of hectic. And but I'm like right there, dude. Like I'm looking at the numbers and the math is telling me like, boy, having as many points as possible during all those big HSIs being purchased is, oh boy, beneficial. And as soon as you earn one Icosa in a stake, that Icosa is awesome, right? You gained economic value, but that economic value isn't working yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man.
our point is also going up over time. So even though we're down, still a lot of room for appreciation. Like 2026, when the T-share rate is gonna be like 50, that's gonna be it's gonna be like a $50 arbitrage point for $1 hex, something around that.
And if you believe the notion that eventually people are going to need more Hedron for all the insane amount of auctions somewhere down the road, Like, well, if you see price appreciation in Hedron leading up to the auctions higher than like this 2.0 point, let's say we go back up to like 4.0, right? And we like, maybe we do a top and then like day of auctions, we crash a little bit and we're at 4.0 again, which sounds reasonable. We were at 4.0 at the beginning of the last auctions. I see a whole bunch of people emergency end staking and then selling all that Icosa or selling all of that Hedron and then buying Icosa up so that they could have even more Icosa. Like they're using their Hedron to yield more Icosa.
Yeah, that seems plausible because here's another reason. Here's another weird thing I'm thinking about. It's like everybody's so Sam Stolt, for example, has said that Hedron has an 18x to go, and I've heard Sloth say, long and steady is Icosa gains, long and steady like a T share. It follows the T share. And so it's like, which would you rather have? The 18x in the token appreciation from Hedron, if Sam Stolt's right, or would you have the long and steady Icosa gains?
My opinion has changed. I was fighting Hexecutioner a little, not fighting him, but like trying to pick at his ideology to try and learn more myself. I was like, oh, dude, like Icosa is the dump token. Nope, I don't think so. I think there's going to be people who dump all the tokens, but like, Icosa is T shares. Do you know what appreciated more, Hex or T shares?
Well, Hex did a 10,000x.
And shares did more.
Oh, they did? How? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because if you're staked, you get the T shares.
Yeah. If you calculate your net worth in terms of Hex, it's actually higher in terms of T shares. My buddy taught me that a long time ago. And I thought that was an interesting fact. Now, I've always said to people, Hex has never been about Hex. It's always been about shares. Well, if all of this system works, shouldn't synthetic shares that earn you more Hedron be like the best play? If Hedron goes up, like Hedron's going to do insane things, but like here's the thing. Hedron does not have to hit ceiling price in order to be valuable. Icosa does not need to be at ceiling price all the time for it to be useful. None of these things have to be at ceiling price. And if it is at ceiling price, all that happens is that Hex gets bought off the market and then, played with. So it depends on what scenario you're talking about. But like when you get a loan on something and you have $1,000 item, you don't always get $1,000. You sometimes only get 50% value. But guess what? If I have $100,000 of Hex and I need money, I would rather take a $50,000 or $30,000 loan on that stake and then pay it off with my shit. But that does cause Hedron to be created out of thin air through borrowable Hedron and shit. So yeah.
So what I was about to tell you, because I'm not as versed, that could you go to could fiat.io list Icosa as one of its tradable tokens? I would imagine they will, because they're famous as accepting Icosa and Hedron. So they will list those two coins, and you could go there to get a loan with your Icosa.
Well, that's cool. But like, I don't think that you really. Maybe you want to take a loan out on your Icosa, but like Icosa was literally invented to be a pure staking rewards coin. So if there's going to be a whole bunch of people doing it, great. But like at that point, dude, you could just get a loan out on your hex stake or something. Like like I maybe like I don't know, man. Like they're doing a sack phase or whatever. Let's see if it ends up being cool or if it sucks. I'm not making
What I'm
any
saying
moves.
is what I'm saying is that is if you believe in if I know you do believe in Icosa, so do I. Why wouldn't you go ahead and get a loan using your Icosa as collateral for to buy more Icosa? Because Icosa is bullish. So then you have done that. That's what rich people, I
Because
think,
your
are
coins
doing.
aren't staked and you're competing with the share rate and everybody else compounding the rewards over time. After hyperinflation of the first year, you're going to start seeing insane amounts of Hedron, and then so your statement's not like it's fine. Like I could see people doing that. I see people more doing that with hex stakes and Hedron. But like I see people doing that with Icosa, maybe, but like they're not like that Icosa pool pays too high of Hedron to where I don't know if like taking a loan out will be worth it. Like, yeah, maybe sometimes it is like you take out a loan and the thing that you bought 2x and then you can go get your Icosa back. But like I don't see that being overly super popular here.
Why not? Here's an example. If you bear
Because
with
it's
me with
not
the
staked.
no, this is the crazy thing. I'm going to tell you something that I think you can react. I'm going to give you something to react to. So if you do the $5,000 and you end up with 90 days so 5,000 equates to 31 different stakes, and before you do the 31 different stakes, you say, okay, I want to buy the liquid Icosa for $5,000 worth. You go get a loan and then buy more Icosa. So then maybe you get like $8,000 worth. And then that 31 Icosa stakes, because you do like 8,000 divided by 160, you end up with like 50 Icosa stakes, each one worth 160
But you
Icosa.
can't stake coins that you're getting a loan out on, right? Or is the new thing? Is it like I heard that you can get loans taken out on staked Ethereum before?
Yeah, you can get a loan. You can get a loan taken out on liquid tokens, and then go do whatever you want with those liquid tokens. Like if you take $5,000 worth of liquid Icosa, and you get a loan for it from fiat.io,
Yeah, but
you in
you're going to get less. So unless there's price appreciation, like if there's price appreciation, it's a great play. But if the price stays the same or goes down, you are just so much better off staking.
but if you get $5,000 worth of Icosa and you get a loan, and then you end up with $7,500 worth of Icosa, so
But
what
that
would you rather have?
original 5,000 Icosa that you are getting a loan on isn't earning interest. And like it's kind of like Hex where it's like really like you are very like and then on top of it you're fighting the share rate as well. And there's going to be a point where a lot of people might be better off just to leave their coin staked because of the share rate. You're not really going to get a huge like leap with a loaning system on Icosa. Because remember, it's the highest paying pool because it pays out Icosa, and that's the only pool where borrowable Hedron is sent to. There's no pool that like receives Hedron besides the Icosa pool. And as soon
Yeah,
as you
but
start playing those games, you lose your share rate, and those coins are not earning yield for you.
no, but the
There
point
could be
is
plays
that
where you make money though, so I don't want to say it's 100% out of the game, but like that's the reason why you wouldn't want to do it. I don't think that I would.
do you believe that people will put dry powder into hex to then use the hex to um, get a loan against it and then
Yes,
get more
I
hex and then stake the
so
hex?
so I think that it would be more advantageous for an Icosa holder who wants to get a loan out on their stuff to take that Icosa to go and trade it for hex, wrap that hex for 15 years, and then get a fully censorship resistant, no strings attached loan from the hex stake and get that Hedron, sell it on the market for the fair market value, or for so it'll probably end up being 20 or 30% of the arb price, and then pay off that hex stake while it's earning hex and it's earning Hedron. Remember, because hex stakes produce Hedron too. So as long as you pay it back, you get that Hedron back. Because the borrowable amount and the mintable amount are like the same number. And you have the underlying hex with the shares earning interest every day while you're taking a loan out on it. So like now we're talking about a world where you can earn interest while you're taking a loan out on something. In your case, nobody is earning interest anywhere other than the person who's loaning you the coins or loaning you your USDC or ETH for your Icosa. And that's
Okay.
exactly why something like that doesn't work with this, in my opinion.
Dude, that is so if you did that, got a decentralized loan from, you know, God, I can't repeat what you just said, man. Would it work with that idea of like doing a bunch of different Icosa stakes at 160 each? Would getting a loan like that? It wouldn't work in that model. You'd have to just
No.
do like one.
Yeah, like and then you have like contract risks, and then you have all these other factors. If Hedron is only ever at 10% of arb price, well then it's not that good of a value, and my statement goes out the window. But as soon as we start talking 20, 30% arb price between a hex stake and the dollar amount of Hedron that you receive, all of a sudden, like people are going to be incentivized to sell their Icosa to buy hex so that they can wrap it for 15 years and then just sell the Hedron, because there's going to be some other dude who comes up who wants to participate in the auctions and wants to buy some Hedron before the next 90-day cycle.
Could you re-explain what you'd said about getting a loan um, or actually earning interest on it?
So
At
if you have a whole bunch of Icosa and like you want a loan, the best thing for you to do is to swap it for hex. Because remember, some people swapped hex for Icosa. These two things are going together, and all of this is just liquidity pools. And remember, that pumps the price of hex down the road. So, but thus in turn pumps everyone's bag. So it's a very unique system. But I see a world where people start swapping Icosa for hex, and then they take 1,000,000 hex or 100,000 hex, and let's say hex is $1. So they take 100,000 dollars worth of Icosa, they swap it into hex, and then they wrap that 100,000 hex for 15 years. And now you locked a share rate for that hex. And now every single day, that hex stake produces a certain amount of Hedron. And on top of it, because that is hex being staked in an HSI, it has T shares, which means that each T-share every single day will earn more hex. So if you take a loan out on that HSI and you pay it off within the 15 years or your term or whatever, and you finish paying it off, you now have a 100,000 hex stake, all of the mintable Hedron in it, and then you have all of the hex that it has earned. And remember, hex APY is like 30-40% a year.
It's pretty amazing. I don't follow it all, but anyway, it sounds absolutely amazing.
Like when like anyone talks to me now, like it's kind of like, you know, we want to talk crypto. You want to talk to me about any coin, dude? Tell me. I'll listen. If there's something good, I'll go in, man. Like if it's something good, but like at this point, I'm kind of like, yeah. Have you heard of Icosa and Watts's? Like because this is how this intermingled system works. And when you invest in things where you have benevolent whales, you have like
Preach it.
founders who we have founders who don't need to take profits.
Preach it.
Like bro, like when you're in this type, like Bitcoin did the highest returns, not because it's so fucking special, it's because the founder didn't dump on everybody.
That's
Every
right.
chance Vitalik got to dump his coins, he did.
He did.
Dumped that first initial $8. He dumped that what was it, $100 or something?
100,
he dumped at every time. If
Richard
you have
called him
founders
out.
who don't dump, you do more X's. That's all. But interconnecting all of these systems and like why it should work, like I kind of figured out that like Icosa, selling Icosa for hex thing on the fly right here, but it just makes so much sense why like if you don't want to sell your shit, like why taking a loan out using the system and then just trading it for hex is bullish for everybody.
What would you think of the desirability will be on Pulse Chain for Icosa? Just, I mean, you know, I know you just say, oh, you know, trigger happy, bullish, but seriously, like, who's gonna want to be buying Icosa on Pulse Chain? I will, but I'm just kind of asking you to think about that.
So, I think that our biggest market customer, I'll tell you right now, are the people you want to be your customers. You know who our customers are, or who the next guy to buy higher from us is? All the dolphins, all the fucking sharks, and all the whales in the hex community. That's
Why?
the first
Okay.
step.
Why would they want to be? Because they just want to be the biggest whales on the Pulse Chain, or you know. Okay, I get.
Well, no,
sure.
it's just about being in Icosa. Fuck this extra fork stuff. Like I'll be real. Like I know Richard said those statements, and that's just like we'll have to see what happens. But like, dude, you just go into this if you go into the mindset that the Ethereum Richard Hart products are just going to zero, it just makes it easier. Like, because now you're just buying Icosa rather than Pulse Icosa. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, you don't want Richard Hart products to go to zero. If Hex goes to zero, Icosa goes to zero.
No, on the ETH side. Assume going into the fork that the ETH side, because of how expensive it is, that it goes to zero. I'm not saying like, or just going with that mindset that it's going to zero. You don't have to dump your coins. I'm not selling anything. I'm just going to chill and let the market go through. But when you're like going into the like some of these game theories, just go into the game theory being like, oh, Pulse Chain came out. Fuck the ETH coins. Now we're just playing with the Pulse coins with the super low transaction fees. That there might be special stuff that happens. There might be people who make life gains and all this stuff over there, but like I think the value proposition of Pulse Chain with full censorship resistance, not being fully audited like from the SEC and the government agencies like Ethereum is, the way that MetaMask is moving, this is going to be an easy transfer. And remember, gas fees on ETH, dude, look what happened when fucking Virtue Signal Kami coin comes out. The stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. But like, what did happen to gas fees? They immediately went 3x. I paid $15 for a swap during that time. One token with one model like that caused the prices to go to $15 a swap. I bought my position in Hex with $80 fees for a swap. I did one for $150 one time. All right. That's how bad I wanted my Hex. And like those types of things will happen again. And as soon as that happens, oh boy, you're not going to want to do a transfer because a send transaction was $20. A send of an ERC20. You're going to look at your ETH coins a lot differently when we go there because ETH 2.0 does not solve that problem. It's very apparent it doesn't because as soon as mint as funny free coins as you want with all the fucking bots that you can create coin comes out, the gas fees went insane while nobody's using the network. All it took was just a couple bots running at the same time, and then all of a sudden the blockchain's fucking useless.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
So when you're going into this game theory and you're trying to think of this, like go in thinking like, oh, the ETH side's gonna just fucking die. Like you don't have to sell your coins, but like, you know, you can sell them later down the road, but just assume immediately as soon as it goes to zero. If it doesn't and you retain 10% value and you want to claim it, you do you. But I want to tell you, I remember there's a reason why Richard raised like what $750 million for Pulse Chain. Now I know a lot of that was Hex and stuff, but he still raised $400 million or something in just like USDC and other coins. Like he raised a lot of money because of how bad gas fees were. But now remember, Richard got bigger after Pulse Chain, and he raised even more money for PulseX. Like, those gas fees were that bad. They scarred you. Some people like lost all of their Hex. Some people like set up their stakes for every 15 years or every quarter or something. They're losing insane amounts of money if Pulse Chain doesn't solve this problem. And I'm going to tell you, crypto's still small. As Ethereum gets more popular, boy, can you afford $400 cents? Because I can't. And all the people why are people going to want to buy Icosa down the road? Because they're going to want Hex. And if you want Hex, one of the great ways to buy Hex is to first buy Hedron and then participate in the market and then buy shares. Tradable, Richard talked about this as early game theory. I was like, hey, if somebody wants to create tradable shares using NFT technology, that would be really cool. You know, make it really awesome. And then Alex came up and then launched it, and he got the tip of the hat. And it's like, yeah. Oh, and one other thing, you take out a loan on your Hex stake, you pay it off with in terms of Hedron. That Hex stake is now in good standing. Now you can take that Hex stake and resell it to the Icosa contract and get a portion of your Icosa back. Or you could let it go to standing. And, you know, it depends what you want to do. If you want to keep the Hex stake, that's a good thing to do. But, like, it might be better to go into Icosa. I don't know what a year from now, what the pools are going to look like.
Who's going to want to stick around for a pool in a year that they know they're going to get less yield? I mean, since it's going to be after the hyperinflation period. That's the thing. Like they're going to be wanting. There's going to be a new.
So earning yield is it's like a two-sided kind of thing. One thing is like, oh, dude, you're earning insane amounts of yield. Well, that means there's a ton more sell pressure. But in the future, the only reason there's less payouts is because there's less Hedron being burnt. And if there's but those hex stakes still exist there. So it creates this arbitrage opportunity where people buy that Hedron and then they get those hex stakes. And if you want Hedron, if you want to like play a little bit longer of a game, you buy Icosa and you stake it because it earns the highest amount of Hedron dollar for dollar per year, and you're not committed to a 15-year stake.
Can we go back to the other idea that you like multi-wallet idea conversation? Because
Yeah.
I just looked up. It says when is 60 days from today, and that is February 6th, 2023, and 180 days from August 15th is actually February 11th. So if you did a like 100, so if you did, $5,000 divided by what, 90? Right. Earlier I did $5,000 divided by 160 Icosa. What would the number of Icosa be, please? If you could tell me, if you did the 90-day minimum, like without.
I think it's anything like over 165 or something like that, or 160.
160 is the max for
The
90
number's
days.
always changing.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, because it's based on the amount of liquid supply available on the market. So if a whole bunch of people end stake and there's a whole bunch more coins on the system, the amount of coins that it takes to get to the next lockup period, it takes more. But yeah, I'm looking 160 coins, 90-day lockup, or 170. Yeah, 160, like 100, 165 max per wallet if you want a 90-day lockup.
So what if you did a 30-day? I mean, my gosh, 30 days only 15 Icosa. You can do a 30-day. You could do a 30-day minimum stake.
Yeah, but that's only like 16 Icosa, I think. So 30. Yeah, 30 or back up to 90. It's a factor of 10. So 160 for 90 days.
Oh. God, what if you got a bot to bit you all that?
Yeah, I bet you all the fucking commie coins fucking guys, I bet you they'd love this shit. Own 600 wallets and fucking, have your bots fucking claim and recompound all of your interest for you. Oh, man. They only knew.
Pay a lot of gas, though.
Literally,
Yeah,
like that community sucks. You know why? It attracts poor people. Oh, go make your coins for free. Sounds like a stupid sales gimmick where it's not free. And what happens when
the gas amount
comes out and like all these other networks have lower gas fees? Now you can mint more coins for less gas. Looks like the price could just keep falling for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of smart people in this chat. I'm telling you, like, this brings back memories of like the Hex chat when I was in at like a penny, man. I got to talk to Richard. I talked to Funding Jim, Rackham. I talked to Rackham a whole bunch of times before he started getting popular. I talked to him plenty of times. And like, this is the smart place. And even the guys who are in it, they're like, yeah, that it's kind of like, it's pretty fucking retarded now. Like they do it because it's fun. And if they make money, awesome. Like, good for you. If you make some money, dude, like, how about this? If you make so much money with all your fucking mint your free commie coins, why don't you just dump that? Why don't you dump that and don't dump the Icosa? Great. Fantastic.
Dude, I don't have any Kami coins. I don't have any Zen. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
I'm
just saying,
waiting.
I don't even like saying the name. That's what it's about. I don't say the name because it's dude. Remember, this dude worked for Twitter and Google, the like most censorship resistant or like the most censored like platforms ever. Like this guy's like a woke Democrat. Like we need to watch out for them. Just because he talks in a soft voice and shit doesn't mean
Yeah.
he's doing good for the world. Just remember that.
No, I totally see your point, bro. I mean, I find common ground in everybody. I mean, I see your point. I agree with you. But I can also see the other side of the coin. I don't feel like I'm wrong in pointing out the good things and the bad things in both. So I mean, his that bullshit thing. I don't even want to talk about it. But 8 years and all this stuff, and well, I mean, but then you go, who knows? I don't know. But back to the point where I was making is
Crypto's pumped. So like
could you
I
could
wouldn't
you
be
could you
surprised to see a good pump.
could you tell me something really fast? Is if you actually deployed a bot to mint you a whole shitload of Icosa stakes to get all the wallets set up and everything, and you only get like 63.4 thousand points for a 30-day stake right now, and if you divide that by 5,000, oh, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. So you do 5,000 divided by 63.4. That would tell you how many stakes it would be. 5,000 divided by 63.4. You get a bot to
Why
7
63? Why are you using 63?
to
You would do
because
5,000 divided by
16.
160 because 160 is for the 90-day.
No, but I'm thinking of like using a bot to do for a 30-day that in order to capture the time before, it would end stake in 30 days before February 11th,
Well, that's
which would
16 Icosa. It's 16 Icosa max for a 30-day.
so 5,000 divided by 16 is you would do 312 Icosa stakes. Do they
And
have
it
to be
would
in each?
cost you about 15, $20 per wallet
No, it
to
won't.
start.
No, that's not true, is it?
Well, you have to do a send in the
Yeah.
Icosa, you have to do a send in the ETH, you have to do a start, and then you have to do an end, and then you have Hedron and Icosa at the end, so you have to do another start with the Icosa, and then you have like all this extra Hedron. So do you let it sit in each of these wallets, or do you do another send or stake it or do a swap? Now, Pulse Chain being out affects all of this. If Pulse Chain was out, 30-day stakes all day, you just have a lot of work. But it's just like right now, we don't know. And at 16 Icosa for a 30-day stake, that's about $8. So it's like, dude, that like you're putting $8 like so you'd be getting Icosa at double the price because you're putting in double the effort, but you can compound it. So it could be the better play. So I don't want to tell you that's
No,
100% like
yeah, keep going
it
on the
could be the better
compounding
play.
part. Calculate the compounding part for me at this point.
It's all based on network activity, and I don't know what's going to happen over the next 50 days. If somebody goes in there and starts every single hex stake right now today, that changes it. And like we can guesstimate. And also, if the price of Icosa pumps, all of a sudden, insane amounts of Hedron can get burnt. So a lot of it's guesswork.
Okay, so if what's the benefit of having it come out in 30 days? Because in 30, let's see, the difference between 30 days from today and then February 11th is
Because if you earn more yield than the stake rate has increased, you have more stake points in the smallest pool. And the Icosa pool is just like mind-boggling kind of yield. And you want to keep that kind of mind-boggling yield. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to lose it. So the best way of doing it, just like in Hex, is by preserving your T shares by locking up longer and not selling your interest. Like here, it's about finishing your stake and then adding more stake points, because that amount of Icosa, you earn so much more Icosa than the share rate went up. Then when you do the math, you end up with just way more stake points.
How much more would you make on this example when you started out with 312 stakes that each of them had 16 in it? Please.
I don't know. No, I don't have these kinds of numbers because I don't know. Like, I don't know how much like stakes are coming through. Let me look at Hex model. Maybe I can guess. There's always stakes coming through, and there's like always big ones, but like, it's really about just getting restaked before the big deal is getting restaked the day of the big payouts. That's where the biggest amount of bonus is. I think when you're going for this, you're trying to maximize to the very, very, very max, and it's kind of like law of diminishing returns. Like like, you know, if you want 85% of the benefit, staking before the big auction day, that'll do it for you. But then you have this argument of like, well, you could you know, squeeze out another 10% shares by the end of it. And when you think about it, if you had 10,000 shares and now you have 11,000 shares, it's nice to have an extra 1,000 shares. So something to think about.
I mean, so what's the question that I should be asking you? It's like, okay, so 312 different wallets has 16 Icosa in it. Is that fair to say? Is that if you wanted to do that way,
Max,
or you could
max for 30 days? Yeah, 16.
Okay. All right. What metrics can you come up with other than the gas would be expensive? But so what if you staked all 312 wallets on when it comes up after 30 days before you restake before for you restake it for a longer period of time? Can you add money to it on that day? Can you add to make it a 180-day stake?
Yeah, after you start a stake, you can then add more to lengthen it. But like the optimal situation is this: is that you stake today. You if gas fees were zero, if gas fees were like near a penny, you make your 300 wallets, you send 16 Icosa to each of them, and then you start stakes on each of them, or use your bot. I don't do bots or anything like that. I know nothing about that. But like, and then you program the bot every 30 days to come in, to go in and stake everything, and then restake it, and then restake it again, and then wait until the big auction day, and
Which is
then
what day?
then unstake everything, and then you go and go at it at a 30-day pace again.
Ooh. Which is the big auction day? Is that the May 2nd?
Or I think the next big ones is what, February 11th? Yeah, or February. Yeah, I think it's February 11th. You said, yeah, or February 13th, right around there.
Man. So 312 wallets times, you said it would be $16 per gas. That would be $5,000. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. That is so stupid. Oh my god, that is a fat $5,000 solid number on my calculator. That's exactly what I was calculating to Icosa to buy that much
Every
Icosa.
time you end staking's like $4 at today's rates. That can, you know, if we go into a further bear, it does get cheaper, but like it, you know, it goes exponential with the price. If I you know, Ethereum does a 2x, and a pulse chain's not out, like, well, that means that it costs now like more like Ethereum to claim than what it costs. But the nice thing is in that kind of scenario, here's what you do: just let the stakes run, because you locked in the share rate. Sucks you can't compound, and then just wait for Pulse Chain to come out, and then compound once pulse chain comes out in that kind of case.
What does it mean? Let the stakes run. So in 30 days, or in 90 days, whatever.
Yeah,
But
just
you,
don't end stake.
okay.
Yeah, just don't end stake. Just keep letting it earn yield because you did lock in the rate. It sucks that all of your yield isn't earning yield, but like it's still fine. Like it's not like there's penalties for letting a stake just keep going. And then once that opportunity arises where you can end stake for a very reasonable price without nuking your stack trying to compound. Once again, I don't think I'm not sure doing 30-day stake. Like I think in theory it makes the most sense, but like there's a lot of downside risk. There's a lot, but a lot of upside risk. You could technically, I think if you would have been able to do it, there's probably a way to figure out like if you had like 100 Icosa and like how many points a day based on everything, and then if you compounded, you could go back and do a theoretical. And I bet you like it would have been very good, but the thing is gas fees, so it wouldn't have been good. But like if you staked and did all 90-day stakes the first day and then got a ton of T points that next day, well, looking back, that was the biggest play. But you had to do it in 90-day cycles, I think. And just doing it between the auctions, once again, that's where you get the most benefit for the least amount of transactions. That's like that safe middle.
So on Pulse Chain, people are going to be doing that because it's going to be cheap. No, like gas is going to be cheap.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, what people want to think fucking Pulse Chain's a ghost chain? Oh, hell no. Wait till you see how many transactions I'm going to fucking do.
So you could do it. You could just do like a whole shit ton of wallets for 30 days on Pulse Chain, not worry about it, and you can just time it with the like the August 15th date. So every
Yeah, because it's 90-day cycles once a hex stake is sent through, and you can assume that like November 19th, a ton went fucking through. So the next 90 days, and then the next 90 days from there.
But what if you did 3 90-day cycles, 3 30-day cycles within the 1 90-day cycle? Do you get more compounded?
Depending on the payouts and at the rate that the share rate has increased. Like yes, but like also that could change and no. So it all depends on what that stake is doing. Like there's just like you have to go and do the math and kind of do a guesstimate and be like, oh man, there's a big hex stake coming out soon. Like, and there's plenty of guys in here who are like, oh, guys, stake now, bitches. They're like, big motherfucker coming in. He's end staking. And, some days it'll jump a couple hundred hex, especially these big guys. So that's a big factor in it. But like over a 30-day period, you shouldn't see that big of a increase. So those extra compounded points are going to be very useful. But then there's going to be a point eventually down the road where it's not worth it for you. And you might as well just let those stakes go for a while until they earn enough yield or until that next 90-day period where you want to compound.
Yeah. I mean, when you say you want to compound, what does that mean when you have 300 wallets?
Like if you have those 300 wallets with 5,000 total Icosa staked, and all of those wallets over that month have earned an additional 15%. Let's say it's the big days, so for easy. So it's like it earned 20% extra coins, right? Well, after it's done, as long as the share rate didn't go up more than 20%, you end up with more T points by staking and then restaking your principal.
Okay, I get it. I get it now.
So whenever you can make a trade where you get more T points past a certain percentage. So like there's my one stake, it wasn't day one and it's a 270. And it's not, if I take a penalty, like I'll end up with a little bit more T points, but like I take such a fucking huge penalty. I think I'm better off waiting another 90 days, taking less of a penalty, and then increasing my T points at that point in the future. So you could get more T points today by taking a penalty, and then, or you could wait to the end of your stake, not take a penalty, and then get more points, but there may be less Hedron burnt at that time. Who knows?
I think going back to your original idea of like 1600 Icosa in a stake times 3 or whatever, because multiples of 10.
Oh, so like the 90 days for 160 Icosa?
No, the 1600 you told me at the very beginning.
Oh, the 180 day stakes with 1600 and just doing 3 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 1700, whatever the number is.
I mean that would, I mean, geez, you know, that'd be nice too. Just 3 of them to manage versus 300.
Yeah, there's definitely a point where where it gets less less stressful.
Patrice von Paris is. Are you? Do you speak French?
Oui, oui. I live
Are,
in
are
the outskirts of Paris.
north or south or east or west?
West side.
What's the west side like?
That's a pretty so there's a couple of more let's say, rich neighborhoods than in the other parts. It's basically where the rich ghettos are,
Like
concentrations
Saint
of
Claude?
posh neighborhoods.
Like
That's funny. Say like a rich ghetto. It's like an oxymoron.
Well,
like
ghetto just mean concentration. In
like
my
Yeah.
like
my perspective.
Puteaux?
Puteaux, yeah. Puteaux is right outside of like Paris.
Are you asking me? Are you saying further west than Puteaux?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why are you
Like
trying to pinpoint them? Why are you trying to pinpoint them?
I don't mean to pinpoint him. I've been to Paris once. I've been to, it does sound like I am trying to, bro. I don't care. I'm just looking at Google Maps. But it's cool to because the first time I got to Paris, I was what, like 19? No, yeah, I was 20 actually. And I cried. I was like, I met this chick on the train leaving the Charles de Gaulle airport after landing, and I was riding into Paris. I didn't know where to get off, and this I wasn't crying at the time, but I was like, you know, some hot chick was talking to me on the train. I hadn't even been in the country for any length of time, and some hot chick was like fucking saying, "Whoa, you're American. Where are you from? Okay, oh," and she goes, "Where are you gonna go?" And I was like, I'm gonna probably go like to the subway of the Notre Dame Cathedral, and just start there. And I don't know where from there. I'm just gonna go start somewhere walking. Oh, I fucking had this like major endorphin rush like after I said bye to her at that same train stop. And I was like, holy shit, that was so fucking awesome. I was wishing I was still with her because she was so fucking cool. And I was like, oh my god, I'm walking around, and I went to isn't the Bastille or like where's the oldest jail in the world or in Paris? What neighborhood is that in?
The oldest jail?
Isn't it called the Bastille or something? No, it's called the
Well, Bastille doesn't exist anymore. Bastille is like it was like the jail that got like destroyed during the French Revolution. So there's a like Bastille place, Place de la Bastille.
yeah, that's what I'm
Uh,
looking at. That's I
this
think
is
that's where
this is where we organize most like social rallies
no,
whenever
it
there's
wasn't
some
there. It wasn't there, dude. It was another building that looks like it has a dome on it. It's really, really old.
Sacré-Cœur.
Nope, that's on the hill. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I walked around in this neighborhood and I was like, holy shit, dude, I don't have a place to stay. I don't have a fucking internet phone. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. And luckily found a hostel. Like I mean, right where I was, and I met some American dudes, and they were like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, no, let's get a room." And the first thing I did, I was like, hey, they were like, "Hey, what do you want to do tonight?" I was like, "Let's. First thing we should do is like go to the Eiffel Tower. Let's get up high. Let's survey this place and see what it looks like." And so we did, and I was like, "That was my." We spent 7 days there, but I'm so glad I did that. That trip. It was so fucking cool, dude. I love that place.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to see, a lot of culture to explore, and the history is kind of interesting. But living there like all year long, I couldn't live in the center. That's like a lot of my friends live in the center, but yeah, I definitely couldn't take it. That's not for me. It's too hectic. I can imagine it's the same living in Tokyo or New York, even worse, probably. But here in the outskirts, you have a lot of forests and parks and a lot of nature. So for me, it's kind of the good balance between not being too far from workplaces and like big stores, and at the same time having access to nature. Like I drive for 5 minutes and I'm in the countryside. But yeah, that girl that you met when you were in Paris, you probably, on average, will not meet so many French girls that would randomly talk to you, especially since their English is pretty poor.
Well,
Like,
she had just flown to Paris, and so she was coming from the airport as well. And she was just in a good mood to be back in Paris, and she was there for the summer, and she
mm,
was yeah, that's because it was just
she
a
was
good
in an open mood.
yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, most French people are not so gifted in language. They don't really like to.
Neither are Americans. Looks like we have
Yeah,
something in common.
that's true. But at least when you're English speaking, you've got more chances to get around by speaking English anywhere in the world. When the French people,
Yeah,
they just travel and they expect that the waiter is gonna speak French in a random country.
Dude, my first meal that night after meeting these American dudes, and we went to the Eiffel Tower. Then after that, we went to this pizza place, and I didn't know how to read the menu at all. I was like, guys, I'm just gonna pick a fucking pizza. I don't know shit about what the fucking menu says. Let's just have some fun. I had no idea, and the pizza came with a hard boiled, like not a hard boiled egg, but like a runny egg, like just a yolk, like in the middle of the pizza. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Was it good? Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. This was like before people started putting eggs on hamburgers. I don't know if you see that a lot, but
I remember that. Yeah. I remember when that trend started.
Yeah, man, this was like years before that started. And just to see an egg on my pizza, it was so fucking funny. It was awesome. It tastes